Okay, this is a question for religious people, specifically Christians. This is I can't speak, specifically Christians in the West. If God made us in his image, man and woman, is God an omniracial hermaphrodite, or is it just white men? So I have a few shorties that are kind of related to this, and then a recent thing that happened with Sean King. Sean King is a man of dubious racial origin, who is a leader in is a very vocal part of the Black Lives Matter movement. And he recently said something, or by the time I'm recording this, I don't know when I'm actually going to release this video, but he recently actually said something about a white Jesus. The white Jesus has been part of white supremacy, and it should be taken down. This imagery of white Jesus should be taken down. Take down white Jesus. Yes, it has been an example of white supremacy since the start, so we need to take that down. And then you have some people, as I expected, mostly on the political right, coming out and reeing about this. He's after Jesus. Even Trump said this. He's after Jesus. He's not after Jesus. He specifically said white Jesus. Come on now, Trump. I understand you gotta play to your base and things like this, but come on now. There's other people out there. He's after Jesus. Even like the Bill Whittle show, I was talking about he's after Jesus. I'm like, no, come on, Bill Whittle. Your analysis has been more in depth than this before. Come on now. This is expected. It was expected that people would go for that. But yeah, so with this whole thing, the United States of America, God created us equal. All men are created equal. No. I'm not even going to the point where it's like, oh, all men, and like, oh, men doesn't mean men does mean mankind, human race. I don't think it's like, oh, specifically this. But even just by that already, we are a sexually dimorphic species. So no, even if you have a God that you think existed, even if you think whether you think it's literal with Adam and Eve's story or not, that is a situation where there was two different human beings created that are not equal, whether it was taken from the rib, whether it was evolution. No, males and females are two different beings. We're complementary. We reproduce together. I think we're better together, stronger together. Put that safety pin with Hillary Clinton and hashtag whatnot with that thing. But anyway, no. I mean, this whole thing. The whole thing with equality is a BS term. Whether it's equality with the current progressive metheist religions or equality from the Bible. And you can see how these current metheist religions came from Christianity, came from westernized Christianity. It is an offshoot of that. It is the daughter. It is the creation of that. It is an evolution of that. That's why it is strongest in these places. These people left that religion and developed a new religion, and right now we're just seeing a battle between a more ingrained religion, an older religion, and a newer religion taking off. That's why you see the state kind of people in the state just tapping their feet. They don't have really strong beliefs one way or the other. Just like when Caesar adopted Christianity, he didn't really all of a sudden had a come to Jesus moment. He just realized whichever Caesar was doing it was like, hey, this thing is popular enough with the populace, and I like having control over the populace. For whatever reasons that he has, and I don't think I think most of these leaders are altruistic in their own ways. They truly believe they're doing the best for themselves, for their family, for their relatives, for their clan, for their tribe, for their in-group, for their nations, for the world. So they do that, and like, hey, for part of this, people seem to be buying this whole Christian thing, so let's adopt that. So right now you have people in the politics, people in the Democrats are like, some people seem to be buying this progressive thing, so let's adopt that. I don't think Nancy Pelosi seriously does think she was made equally as I am. She probably thinks she's better than me in many kind of ways, and she is better than me in many kind of ways, just like I'm better at many other things. But when it comes to the actual depiction, if you do believe this, if you go into believing that whole equality is actually a thing, and we actually were made in his image, I've talked about this in separate videos, if there is an actual race, if Jesus was actually God made human, and he actually entered some kind of race, doesn't that show some preference of the race? If you go to heaven, and you have a thing where it's like, in heaven, if you had to pick a race, are they racist? Are people in human bodies anymore? If you're saying his image, so technically are you saying that God is somewhere in some kind of physical sense? Once he takes a physical sense, is that a human body? Is that his original form? Is that just one of the millions of infinite forms that this being decided to create? So there's too many questions of these things. That's why I can actually buy this stuff, because once I started believing something and started thinking this is important, and this to me was the most important thing ever, this is how existence came to be, I started looking into it. I was like, this doesn't fly. Just like you don't believe Zeus and all those things. I don't think you do. Just like you don't believe Islam if you're not Muslim. Just like you don't believe the story of Inanna or Tiamat, all these original gods in Sumerianism, things like that, in Sumerian traditions. You don't believe that stuff. That's just how I just don't believe this stuff. It just doesn't fly. It doesn't buy. So yeah, if you are somebody that does believe in the whole thing that God, the Christian God, made us in his image, what does that make God's actual image? Let me know what you think. This has been Questions 4 series, kind of also in the Shorty series, but I think I'll just put this in the Questions 4 or whatever. Like, share, subscribe. Should be links to merchandise as well. Till next time, appreciate you taking your time. Really interested to see what you think in the comment section about this specific thing about religion, about specifically the Christian religion. Although, as I've mentioned before with a lot of these things, it is not in particular because it's not something specific or unique to Christianity. This is something that is general in humanity. We make gods in our image, not the inverse. Goodbye.